came back, again, the rhythm, the timing, that is going to take time, and not to allow it to derail what he is and who he is and how capable he is. There's a reason why he's an all-star. There's a reason why he's done the things he has done in this league. Not forgetting that. Again, it's going to take some time to get a rhythm, to find that momentum. Being able to do that is just continue to put the work in, continue to trust who you are, and continue to know how much your teammates trust in who you are.
Magic get back on the court tonight, taking on the Golden State Warriors at 10. You can hear the game live on 10 a.m. It's 70 degrees at 12 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Hey, hey.
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Well, ladies, here's one of the reasons I love listening to the Superstation 1010XL. Because the day that Trent Baalke was fired, I was listening to the Frangie show, and Frank said a couple things. One, Shad should make Tony Baselli executive vice president of football operations. And two, Shad should circle back to Liam Cohen and see if, now that Trent has been fired, if maybe Liam wants to be the head coach here. Well, what do you know? A couple weeks later, Tony Baselli, that's right, RJ, today named EVP of football operations for the Jaguars. And we'll let you hear from him in just a second. And Liam Cohen, of course, has been now the head coach for a little while. And so, again, that's what you get when you listen to 1010XL.
Yes, I love it. First, congrats to Tony Baselli. And I think this is something that I have a pen that one of the fans made that says Tony Baselli. A pen. Yeah, like a PIN pen. And so the fan base, first of all, I think it started almost as like being funny and then turned into people thinking about it and being like, wait, maybe this actually does make sense. And I think it's great. I think Tony Baselli is obviously somebody who means a lot for the city, for this organization, and he cares. Like, he cares a lot about Jacksonville as a city and Jacksonville, the Jaguars. And so I think having somebody like that in the building helping make a lot of these decisions moving forward is exactly what the Jacksonville Jaguars need, because I do think we've talked a lot, this organization is one of the later ones. It didn't come around, so it doesn't have the history back to the 40s and 50s and all of that. So you're creating all of that right now in this time. And so to now have somebody who was your first draft pick be a part of the organization and somebody who is beloved by the entire city, I think it's fantastic. It's a great great move for Shad Khan in making this feel like, okay, I want you guys to be able to have things that you love just as much as Tony loves the Jags.
Yeah, maybe 3 years too late, some would say, Mia.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I just told the boys during Jaguars today during the handoff, I am intrigued that it is an EVP title, because I have long maintained that I thought it would be a role much more similar to Chris Spielman with the Detroit Lions, the executive counsel to the owner or the lead advisor or whatever, that sort of role. So that, yes, for those of you who are now filling up my mentions on X and are asking, what about Jags Happy Hour? What about the drill? I don't know the answer to what Tony Baselli's media involvement will be allowed to be, because now it's an EVP title. Yeah. I don't know what the league has determined. We heard Shad Khan say at Liam Cohen's introductory presser 1 week ago that they had to submit this to the league. And so I don't know the answer to that. What I am most curious about...
I highly doubt, by the way, that he continues to do media.
Yeah.
That's my guess. My just gut is...
I feel like if Tom Brady can be the owner and do media, then Tony should be able to.
It's possible. Yeah. My gut is that's not going to be his preference. Yeah. I think Tony's going to prefer to stay out of the media, the public eye, as far as that's concerned, but that's just my guess.
Well, what I find most interesting, and I do not, and I know many of you, including people that we work with, keep asking me about these fictitious Twitter accounts and who is this one, who is that? I don't know.
The Yoda one?
Yeah, I don't know. But I think, and this is not just one person I spoke to back in December, but multiple people who I spoke to in December around the league had reservations about the idea of Tony Baselli having some sort of decision-make power, and not because he's Tony Baselli, but for him to ascend to an EVP role because they did not want too many hands in the cookie jar for a potential new regime in Jacksonville. Taylor, I think you can really speak on this more than anyone. Kevin Warren's presence in Chicago has created roadblocks, to be clear. Not Trent Baalke roadblocks, but it has made at times, at least from what the reporting suggests, and I'm sure from what you've heard, it has made Ryan Poles' job a bit more interesting, we'll call it. And so that's where I look at this, and I am curious if any reservation that we may have heard in the last few months and weeks about potential GM candidates, not about Trent Baalke, but the idea of, are you going to have too many hands on the cookie jar in Jacksonville? I wonder if it stems from this planned hiring. And again, this is nothing about Tony personally. This is about the idea of you have a head coach and a GM and that's it. Versus you have a president and an assistant GM and an EVP. And do you want to have that many people with decision-making power? And just know that, again, this is independent of Tony. This is just what I was told in December when both Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke were still gainfully employed.
I will say one difference when it comes to the Chicago thing is that George McCaskey is also a football person, so has his voice and hands in things also. The owner. And so Shad Khan, I think this is part of what we've talked about, maybe needing a little more help when it comes to the actual football side of things, because we know he can do the business side fantastic. We've seen the stadium stuff. We've seen the billboards. We've seen, the video boards. We've seen everything he's been able to do when it comes to that aspect and building the Jaguars and making it, earning all this money and making it worth more money during the time that he's been here. But there's been the criticisms on how much does he know about football, and has that affected some of these hires, and has that affected some of these other things. And so that is one difference to me, is because I think that in Chicago you have McCaskey, and then you also have Kevin Warren, and then you also have Ian Cunningham and Ryan Poles, and you have a head coach, and all of them are football guys. So there is a lot of voices in there. And yes, there has been issues when it came to Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles and maybe some decisions. But this year, it has almost seemed like, because of the way that things have played out and they sat down and had a conversation about some of the power struggles, that this year it seems like things have been very seamless. So if they do this and approach it the right way, I do think that it could be beneficial in the light of having, like I said, Tony Baselli, number one, somebody that we know genuinely cares about what happens to the Jaguars and winning football.
And that's very important, by the way. And I want to make sure we really hammer that point home. What did I say to you, Taylor, as I was leaving to come do the handoff? I said, yep, same thing I said about Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
There is a manifest destiny when it comes to former players going back to the team they were drafted by and believing they are the chosen one, and they will be the ones to deliver a Super Bowl.
I think at the end of the day, Shad is someone who has always been able to trust Mark Lamping on the business side, to your point, Taylor. And as far as he can step back and know that everything's running perfectly in that realm. And there's been very few issues, like maybe the Lot J thing not coming to fruition and development there. But other than that, pretty much everything that the business side has said that they're going to do, anything that they've set out to do, has come to fruition. And on the football side of things, obviously in 2017, it was great momentum, a fantastic season, and then it all fell apart in 2018. In 2022, more of a surprise season, because certainly it was Doug Peterson's first year. And then certainly, again, a collapse the next season. Right. And so I do think when Shad had Tom Coughlin as the EVP prior, that was probably the happiest time that Shad had as far as being able to take a step back and fully trust someone else to run that side of things. And then obviously he didn't have that in 2022. He had both players equally pretty much in as far as Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. And if they had worked really well together, maybe we wouldn't be where we are now. But now I think, once again, he's going to try that EVP of football operations, but someone who has played the game much more recently, been involved with the game. Tom obviously it had been several years since he had been around it. And that's one thing to me Tony brings is he's done sidelines now done different game calls for so long now that he's got so many contacts in this league. And I don't know, shot outside of other owners, I don't know how many other people he can pick up the phone and call and ask those types of football questions.
Absolutely, Lauren. And I'm glad you brought up 2017. I do want to make, for those of you who are unfamiliar, perhaps you were too young to know it then, the differentiation between the power structure in 2017 under EVP Tom Coughlin and now the structure that was alluded to. And they were very transparent. It said it in the tweet. It says it in the press release that I have right in front of me on my computer. In 2017, Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone reported to Tom Coughlin. And until he was fired in late 2019, at which point Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell both reported directly to Shad Khan as equals, that was the structure. And previous to that, you had the head coach reporting to the GM, and that's a story for another time. From what we have been told from this press release, from what the Jaguars have released on their social channels this morning, Boselli will report to Shad Khan, Liam Cohen will report to Shad Khan, and the new GM will also report to Shad Khan, and they are all equal in this co-building process. Different than 2017.
Yeah.
That will for Shad.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That'll be a fascinating thing to kind of take on and see how that goes, because that's an interesting power structure. But I do think that when we're relating this, we've obviously been talking now about the coaching staff being built and how important that is too, and making those right hires. And it's similar for Shad, because when we talk about these guys becoming head coaches who have been coordinators for a while, and they have all of this experience in that realm, but not as a head coach. And we've seen guys fail, obviously, who haven't been able to make that change from being a great offensive coordinator or a great defensive coordinator, having to take over that head coaching role, and it just not really working out because there's so many, there's a lot more things that you're taking on as a head coach. So the importance in that is then making the right hires so that you can delegate, and if you can delegate to people that you trust and that you know can do the job at the high level. It's obviously been a bit of an issue here in Jacksonville and a lot of other places around the league. And so to me, it's similar to Shad Khan. Shad Khan has to be able to bring people in this building that he does trust. And yes, they're reporting to him by these reports, but he also needs to be able to step back a little bit and trust these guys and being able to delegate certain work, because I do think that that's what those jobs are for at that point. Each of these men are really good at certain things, and we've seen that through their careers at whatever they've been doing. So now let them be able to do that.
Yeah, and one of their person who used to play for the Jaguars, Fred Taylor, who obviously joins the drill every Monday morning, is, like I said, I'm guessing Tony won't, but we'll see. I know he's set to join tomorrow, so maybe tomorrow will be the swan song. We'll see. But I was excited to hear Fred Taylor. He spent the weekend in Orlando at the Pro Bowl, and he talked to several former Buccaneers players about Liam Cohen and how much they love him, including Mike Evans, the future Hall of Famer. And so I think we're starting to get more and more of that. You know, the further we get from how things transpired with Liam leaving Tampa Bay and how scorned they were, the more I think we can focus on the future. And so I think Tony Baselli, Mia, had a huge part in the fact that Liam Cohen is here. And he said he's already working on the general manager, which is good news too. So I do think we can start to focus on the future versus the past.
I look back at Thursday's pep rally now, and I smile and laugh with how amped up Tony Boselli was.
Oh, yeah.
I saw those of you in the comments on the live stream saying, what is Tony on right now? He's way too jacked up for this.
But that's who Tony is. That's why we love him.
Someone commented, was like, is he drunk?
Right, exactly. And now I look back on it and I'm like,
no, he's just excited.
No, he's excited because he's got a say now.
Yeah.
He has an official say, no longer just simply him going to Shad Khan and saying, please, just listen to me. And that's encouraging, because at the root of this, Shad Khan is not a football guy. He needs someone who knows how the league works to be in the building and to, quote unquote, have an independent third-party analysis of the Jaguars, independent of the head coach and the general manager.
Right. And like I said, you need people to talk to, right? That's what a lot of this business is. A lot of the NFL is, and college football too. Who do you know that can give you the actual lowdown on someone, whether it's a player, whether it's an assistant coach, versus someone who's just going to kind of feed you lines and you believe it because you don't really know, And so you do have to have different people at different places that you can trust and that will be honest with you. And that's where, when you have a GM and a coach, a head coach that are both vying for their future jobs, they may not be honest with you. Right. And that certainly has been part of the problem. I do want to let you hear from Tony Baselli, so we'll get to that on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels. It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. I got a nail in my tire last week. So what did I do? I went to Big Chief Tire. They said they can hopefully fix it and plug it, which is exactly what they did. If not, I would have gotten a new tire. And of course, I trust them and their opinions. You can find them online at wekeepjacksrollin.com. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Grilling stuff.
3 double cheeseburgers with everything.
Fixing stuff.
Let's go to work.
Drinking stuff.
You know a lot about beer. He knows a lot about everything.
1010XL's Man's Man.
Bring it, baby.
Joe Coward. Weekdays 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Mia here. New Year's resolutions are upon us, but let's be honest. By February, that gym membership you bought, that'll just be a $50 per month guilt trip. Why not take that cash and finally fix that leaky faucet, unclog that drain, or tune up that AC? Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning has your back. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com or call today at 904-862-6769. Start the year off fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses. Duck Duck Rooter, 904-862-6769.
Attention homeowners, Chelsea here. For a limited time, Renewal by Andersen is making it easy to upgrade your home during our free window month. When you buy 4 windows or patio doors, you'll get 1 free. Our exclusive Fibrex material delivers the perfect combination of energy efficiency, durability, and style. Perfect for your home makeover this season. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window. Restrictions apply. See website for details. License number CGC 1527613.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's finally here. A game so big we're not even supposed to say the name, where the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Philadelphia Eagles at the Caesars Superdome. This isn't just the biggest game of the year, it's the ultimate betting event. If you are not on MyBookie, you are missing out on the action. Big game betting with MyBookie goes beyond just picking the winner. We've got all the wild props for this epic showdown. Will it be heads or tails for the coin toss? What color will the Gatorade for the drenching of the winning coach be? Even the length of the national anthem are up for bets at MyBookie. They love giving you options to bet on everything. Make it easy to win and even easier to get paid with MyBookie, whether you deposit with crypto or credit. Bonuses await. And our new loyalty program gives you cash back just for playing. Bet on big game boosted parlays, live betting, and jackpots that can turn small bets into big wins. Why just watch when you can own the big game? Sign up with MyBookie now using promo code 1010XL and get your 50% sign-up bonus to kick things off. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
So, Dad, how many people did we have in the house for the family party this year?
I think we had about 30, but with all those grandkids, it felt like 300. They were all over the carpets, rugs, sofa, and chairs, and the kitchen tile really took a beating.
Sounds like it's time to call Zero Res. The Zero Res text will get the house looking great again.
Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holidays, give Zero Res a call. Right now, get 25% off carpet cleaning and 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Ben Krause, senior captain of the varsity basketball team at Paxton High, was a member of the all-academic team last year. Ben is an AP scholar with honors in foreign languages and world history.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today, or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Yes, it is Super Bowl week. We'll get to the Super Bowl at some point this week, but certainly we're going to be talking a ton of Jaguars.
We've been a little busy.
a little busy, and we will continue to be busy, especially if a new GM rolls into town here in the near future. As far as our theme this week, first 2 days of the week, we're going to play songs from artists who have performed at Super Bowl halftimes in the past. Our favorite ones. Taylor, I'm going to guess you picked Coldplay.
I did.
I love
Coldplay. Yes, me too. I love this song. Yellow is my favorite, but that one is like a lot slower. I was like, let me get one of the more dancey vibes for our show today, and let's get some good vibes going. So yes, but I do love Coldplay. He's fantastic, and I've never seen him live. It's definitely one of the bands that I do want to see live. That there's not many left on my list I haven't seen at some point, because he's fantastic. Like every video I've seen, obviously at the Super Bowl, but even just like a normal concerts around the U.S. have been so fantastic. And I'm like, dang, I need to see him so badly.
Now that I think about this, Brian's dad and sister several years ago flew to Chicago to see Coldplay. That would have literally been your perfect trip. Yes. And they said Coldplay was insane, amazing, all the things that you could expect. So yeah, that'll be a fun theme for us this week. We want to continue to tell you more about Tony Baselli as the Executive Vice President of Football Operations, but let's let you hear from the man himself.
From the moment I was drafted, this is the only place I wanted to be. This franchise is everything to me. It's in my blood. We've been through a lot together, but right now is a great time to be a Jaguar. We got our man, our head coach, Liam Cohen. Today, Shad Khan made my dream come true, and I'm ready to get to work. Next step is finding our general manager, and that work is already underway. I was the first pick in franchise history. It's not just a job, it's my passion. And I am so excited to be a part of the team that brings the first championship to Duval.
I love, by the way, the very end of that when he says, ready to bring a championship to Duval.
Yes.
He didn't say Duval. Obviously, Tony knows how to say Duval.
A postseason appearance.
And he did not just say, he wants success. Like his actual end goal, just like everyone's in the NFL, should be a Super Bowl championship, which Belichick wants to rename that instead of the Lombardi Trophy, to the Tom Brady Trophy.
Yeah,
Please, NFL don't ever allow that to happen. But yeah, so Tony,
I'm fine with getting rid of Lombardi, but no, I'm just kidding.
A Bears fan would say that. I understand, maybe wanting to make it more modern, but please not the Tom Brady Trophy, especially if Mahomes in the end ends up with more championships, then we have to change it again. All right, so Tony Baselli is the Executive Vice President of Football Operations. How that eventually all works out, I think the next year will be fascinating to see. But as far as he did mention that a new general manager, the search is underway for that already. I think that's good news because otherwise you would be, I think, behind the eight ball a little bit.
And it also
I was about to say, you got 25 days.
Yeah. It also suggests that Tony Baselli is very involved in that process. That we did not know over the last week or so.
Right.
We knew that he would have some sort of role within the organization. We did not know if he would have as much of a role as he did as serving on the committee, the 2 or 3 or maybe just him and Shad committee to search for the next head coach. And so, yes, this all but suggests that he is leading that general manager search, which is a good thing because it allows for Liam Cohen to focus on building his staff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Mia, because we have some staff that has now been put into place. And then we also still have an offensive coordinator position that is still out there available. So you can still send your resumes in to the Jaguars for that position.
Kind of LinkedIn.
Yes, exactly. Through LinkedIn, absolutely. But obviously, the offensive coordinator position is not going to be the one calling plays. So that's probably the least important of the 3 coordinators as we sit here today. We do know the defensive coordinator. We talked about him ad nauseum on Friday, Anthony Campanile. And then you also have, of course, Heath Farwell being retained as a special teams coordinator. We'll start with another guy that's returning, Mia. Richard Angulo will be the tight ends coach. He has been and he will be.
Yeah, and I actually heard from a source over the weekend, I should say, because I guess it was Friday, so we'll consider that the weekend. That
if it's after 2 p.m., it's the weekend.
Yeah, exactly, right around these parts, at least for this program, certainly. There was even a sentiment that even if it wasn't as tight ends coach, perhaps could Richard Angulo kind of return to his roots of coaching as the offensive line coach? And would that be a potential possibility here in Jacksonville? Of course, later over the weekend, we heard about 3 known candidates that have been requested for the Jaguars offensive line coach position. We'll get to them here in just a second. But yes, Richard Angulo served as the tight ends coach for the Baltimore Ravens, but then he also served as the assistant O-line coach. So he does have experience there. And so that's why I kept an open mind even when those 3 names rolled out. But from what's been reported from the NFL Network, this multi-year extension for Angulo, who's done not only great work with Brenton Strange in developing the second-year pro, but also Evan Ingram, some of the best years of his career, the things that he was knocked for in New York, largely not a problem anymore, whether that be blocking, whether that be catching and drops. Like, it's no longer as much of an issue as it was during the first 5 years of his career. And so certainly someone who, from all reports, from everything I've been told, he's very much a non-controversial guy, comes to work, does his job. And that's the type of person that I think you need, especially because so many of these other reported hires, Lauren, very much high in energy. You need the mellow, like, easy guy to keep up with the fast-paced, juiced-up guys that the Jags have also reportedly been interviewing and or have reportedly hired.
Yeah, you certainly need a balance personality-wise. Another guy the Jaguars hired is defensive line coach Matt Edwards. He most recently was the Bills' assistant defensive line coach, and the key guy I think that you would say that he's coached would be Max Crosby.
Yeah.
I would say Max Crosby's a pretty good
name
one.
that we talk about every now and then.
Exactly. Back-to-back double-digit sacks, and we haven't mentioned it yet. Of course, Myles Garrett did request a trade from Cleveland. It doesn't sound like the Browns necessarily want to trade him, though. That's a whole other sticky, messy situation that the Browns get to deal with that we don't have to, at least for the here and now. But yeah, Matt Edwards, from all reports, a really good defensive line coach.
Yeah, and he also spent 3 years with Mike Vrabel on his first 3 staffs in Tennessee, or I guess 4 years technically that would be, and spent 15 seasons coaching at the collegiate level as well. I think that's a tie that we've noticed with many of these reported hires and the reported interviews, having that experience in college. And I said it last week on the program, and I'll say it again. I had a league source tell me right after the loss to the Lions, when I said, where does this team go from here? Where do the Jaguars go from here? And that source said to me, honestly, I'd go to college. I'd go young. I'd try things out and see where the league is headed. Because at this point in time, what do you have to lose? Yeah. And additionally, if that's where the league's going to be in 5-6 years, as Hayes Carlyon has said ad nauseum on this Superstation, when the league changes 10% each year, and Doug Peterson was still banging his chest that, well, this worked in 2017. Well, 2017 was 7 years ago. Yeah. The league is 70% different than it was then. I think that you can get ahead of it by going out and finding where the league potentially could be headed by looking for these younger, either NFL coaches, college coaches, or someone with an experience in both.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's the issue is certain teams will go after experience because experience seems appealing, because it is, okay, they've done it already and they've done it at a high level. And I do think that the Doug Peterson hire is similar to that, where it's like, oh, he won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Like, he has this experience of developing, he was part of Carson Wentz, and he was a part of kind of making this team that shocked some people with maybe some quarterbacks that people didn't quite think were sitting at the top, and they took him to a Super Bowl and beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. And so,
how has Carson Wentz been since Doug Peterson?
Yes. And so, and some of that people go back to Doug. Did he actually kind of ruin things with Carson Wentz, and that's a question that a lot of Philly fans talk about. But I do think that sometimes the safe bet is that guy with experience, but you have to be smarter. You have to be the smarter guy in the room eventually and start looking at how the league is turning into. And look, some of these teams in this offseason, when we talk about the Eagles with Saquon Barkley, when we talk about the trade with Derrick Henry, when we talk about Josh Jacobs, all of these running backs, people were mocking these teams for like, why are you spending so much money on a running back? The running backs don't matter anymore. You can get a running back in the 3rd round and he'll still be just as successful. They're laughing now because all of those running backs did well. So you have to have those people in the building, to your point, Mia, that are looking beyond what this year. They're looking, okay, what is this league going to look like in 5 years?
Right. Teams were, because the run game was less emphasized, teams were starting to be, especially defensively, faster, right? And they have to be able to keep up with those tight ends that are such mismatches. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you do insert a really good running back and it's like, oh, wait, we don't have the linebackers to be able to tackle a guy like that. Or, when it comes to the Jaguars, they didn't have linebackers that, I don't know, played in the correct positions. That would also be helpful. Speaking of linebackers, Coach Tim Lukabu, the defensive coordinator, most recently connected to Jeff Hafley when he was at Boston College. And so certainly there's a connection there. And then he was most recently the not defensive coordinator, the linebackers coach.
Yes, with the Carolina Panthers. Yes, but he, again, has spent time at Boston College as the DC, Mississippi State as the linebackers coach. The biggest tie here is that he is a Greg Schiano guy, much like Anthony Campanile, although they did not overlap at Rutgers because Tim Lukabu followed Greg Schiano to Tampa Bay, TBT, to when Greg Schiano was the head coach of the Bucs. And so they never overlap, but certainly those Rutgers ties, the Schiano ties. I've actually been pleasantly surprised, ladies, from not only our Heeligans on the
Northeast ties in general.
The Northeast ties in general, yes. He did go to Colgate, although he originally is from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Zaire, so maybe not necessarily born and raised in North Jersey and Bergen County, but I do think that I've been pleasantly surprised with the feedback we've gotten from Heeligans, from listeners at large, from those of you in Jaguars Twitter, that there is still a sense of respect to the Greg Schiano defensive operation and what he built at Rutgers and then eventually came back to rebuild. And that's been like heartwarming for me as someone who grew up in like my first real college football experience was in 2001 as a young child going to a Rutgers game in Greg Schiano's first season. My dad's cousin was actually the AD at Temple at that time. And so that was like my first experience. And then obviously never will forget, as long as I live, when they beat number 3 Louisville. And I looked at my parents and I said, this is so much fun. And they said, don't get used to this. This is not Rutgers football. But Tim Lukabu and Anthony Campanile both have ties to that system that, yes, well, it did not work in the NFL. And, well, yes, it has certainly stiff competition in the Big Ten. And I'm not saying Rutgers is going to win 10 games this year, but it is a more well-functioning product when he is at the helm, even with limited resources.
Yeah, so Lukabu and Campanile do have, some ties, which I think we've seen that for pretty much every coach that we've seen or assistant that's been hired is somehow, some way there's ties back. And look, that's how a lot of college coaches do it, right? Like you can always trace people tying to one another. And so I think you are going to see the NFL at times, especially if they're innovative, right? That to me has been, if we're going to talk about the identity of what I think the Jaguars will be next season, offensively, I think it's innovative. Defensively, I guess we can use that cliche aggressive, but every defense wants to be aggressive and physical and all those things. But certainly offensively, I think innovative is a key word. And then, like I mentioned, the offensive coordinator position still out there.
It's still out there.
Still available.
Aaron Wilson of KPRC out in Houston, who also covers the league nationally, reported that Nate Shieldhouse is the front runner for the job. And I think that is rather interesting when you consider the offensive line coaches who've been requested for the O-line job, which obviously would have to move in lockstep, not only with head coach Liam Cohen, but also the offensive coordinator. Zach Cromer, the son of one of the top offensive line coaches in the league up in Buffalo, who both spent time with Liam Cohen. Both Aaron and Zach Cromer were with Liam during his time with the Rams from 2018 to 2020. That's an interesting one because Shieldhouse would also be coming from the Rams. And so I think, and they're both extremely young. Nate Shieldhouse would be just 34 years old on opening day this year. Zach Cromer, 31 years old. He was a quality control coach when Liam was in Southern California. I don't know if they're the front runner. I did hear from some people around the league that it could be a nice package deal. There's also a thought that if Nick Caley of the Rams is to go to Houston, would he try to bring Zach Cromer with him if he is to take on the role as play caller with the Texans? And so That one I think the Jags may have a little bit of competition for, but yes, they also requested the 49ers assistant offensive line coach, and of note, they also requested the Bills assistant offensive line coach. Again, there's a tie to Aaron Kromer, one of the most respected line coaches in the National Football League, but still younger guys, and this would be their next job, that younger, wherever the league is headed, and it's a gamble. But aren't all of these dart throws when all is said and done?
Yeah, Grant Udinsky, one of the ones.
Eagles fan. And we know, unfortunately, sorry, Nick Sirianni, that hire will be made by Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. Yeah. Could they be intrigued but with bringing home a young whiz kid? And I don't know. They may say no. We did great work with Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, who have both been coordinators in the league for years. Maybe they'd go that same route. But that is an interesting domino that I'm curious if that would need to fall before they were able to. If
actually do it, yeah.
Right. If he indeed was someone. And by the way, Tavita Pritchard, the other offensive coordinator interview that we know the Jaguars conducted last week, I've heard high praise for him around the National Football League, just people I've been talking to the last week, almost unsolicited. Like people saying, oh, yeah, he's good. Like he's ready to be an offense coordinator in the NFL. And I've just been like, oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask you that, but I'm glad that you informed me of this.
I will say I talked to Ross Jackson of Locked On Saints over the weekend, and he said he's like 98% sure that Kellen Moore is going to be in New Orleans.
That would not certainly surprise me. New Orleans going to get a lot of attention this week as the Super Bowl is being held there. One other final Jaguars note, Ron Rivera brought in over the weekend, according to John Shipley. We do not know the role that he was interviewing for necessarily. Obviously not defensive coordinator. But could that be someone, when people ask for more experience to be in the building, could that be someone that the Jaguars lean on? Now with Tony Baselli's new title of EVP of football operations, does that kind of change things? There's so many questions that will still have to be answered as we move along. Ron Rivera, at 63 years old, has had a lot of success, obviously, in the NFL as a head coach.
And he did an interview last year where he said he wants back in and he's okay being, whether it's coordinator, assistant head coach, he just wants to be a part of a team again. And I think one thing that we really haven't looked at is when you look at the Bucs staff that Todd Bowles has constructed, and certainly Liam Cohen had a hand last year as the OC in constructing some of that staff, whether it's Tom Moore or some of the other veteran guys on that coaching staff, even Todd Bowles at 2 years old, 61 years old, whatever he is, they still have some old heads who maybe aren't the coordinator, but they're in the building. And so I don't know what this role would be for Ron Rivera. I've tried to search out exactly what his tie is to either Campanile or to Liam, and there really are none. What I can tell you is he is from a Navy family. He grew up in a Navy household, so like maybe the allure of Jacksonville and maybe coming to a Navy town, maybe that's of interest to him.
Lots of maybes.
Yeah, I don't know.
We shall find out. All right, there was massive NBA news over the weekend. We will tap into RJ's expertise when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online at wekeepjacksrollin.com, and you will see over 7,600 5-star reviews. That's because Big Chief Tire is the best in the business. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Here we come. 1010XL. Here we go. Here's all you need to know. Jacksonville Sports Radio is 1010XL.
Ackerman Urology offers the most advanced options for improving men's health and vitality. Their board-certified urologists treat all prostate disease and sexual health issues. Call their new location at World Golf Village or visit AckermanUrology.com.
Mia here. You want to know what I'm so over? Resolutions. I mean, you're just kind of setting yourself up for a letdown, right? You want to know what I am into, though? The revolution, hitting the road in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. So what do you say? Join the Arlington Revolution and save big with financing as low as 0% on select new Toyota models. 0%. Or join the revolution with up to $8,500 off select new Toyotas. I like saving $8,500, don't you? Plus, every new Toyota purchase from Arlington Toyota comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. And Arlington's 60-day exchange program. That's 60 days to love your new Toyota purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Now's the time to save big and join the revolution in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/0% for full details.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410. It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
This is Burton Cummings, the voice of a generation. Burton Cummings, 60th Anniversary Hits Tour. February 5th at Florida Theater. With special guest, Jim Messina. Burton Cummings and his band. 60th Anniversary Hits Tour. Tickets on sale now at floridatheater.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 3rd, 2002, the New England Patriots won their first Super Bowl title, defeating the St. Louis Rams 20-17. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady was awarded MVP.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, February 12th through 16th. The Daytona 500 is sold out, but you can still win a 4-pack of tickets to all the other Speed Weeks races. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? For a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Speed Weeks races, text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Hi, I'm Luke Pritchett, Vice Chairman at the Players. We are proud to support Goodwill and their mission to remove barriers to employment through training, education, and career opportunities. It's 36 days to go until the Players.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
Bruce Springsteen for you. This song, of course, Glory Days. When Springsteen performed this at the Super Bowl halftime, he actually changed the lyrics to make it about football players. So going down memory lane as far as our favorite artists that have performed during Super Bowl halftimes. If either of you pick any Katy Perry, we'll be jamming out today.
I mean,
so far we've had
I don't
Coldplay
want to
and Bruce
ruin it,
Springsteen.
but
she was not one of my favorites, but that's quite all right. All right, so being completely transparent, Saturday night went to bed super early because we were doing the Donna yesterday. And by doing the Donna, as I told y'all, we were doing the Donna crawl, which is only 2.7 miles. It's untimed. It is not at all anything like the half marathon or the marathon, but still have to wake up early. It was starting at 7:45 and we were walking from our house to Citywalk Pavilion yesterday morning. So that adds another like mile and a half or whatever. Anyway, go to bed super early Saturday night. Wake up to the news that Calipari's Arkansas team beats Kentucky at home, but that was obviously not the most blockbuster news. It was the fact, and Taylor, I know you were awake because you had a great tweet about it. The fact that Luka Doncic was traded to the Lakers, Anthony Davis then traded to the Mavericks. I honestly have not been more surprised by something like that, a trade like that in season. And I'm not even a giant NBA fan, as y'all know, but I was literally stunned.
Stunned. It's stunning. And it was especially stunning. And don't worry, we're going to tap into RJ for this
By
one.
the way, it's still stunning.
Yeah,
I
it's
still think
stunning.
about it. And I'm like, I went to RJ today and I'm like, what is that?
Have you seen the pictures, too, from outside American Airlines Arena? Like, there is like a memorial.
Oh, yeah.
for
They had a
Luka.
coffin and
Like,
everything.
This
Poor
is
Mavs fans.
right. This is like, it's unprecedented. I got a kick out of all the NFL types trying to come
Compare
up with
it,
an analogy. And, like,
I saw some very bad ones, by the way.
Yes, there were definitely some bad ones. But here's the thing. I just cannot believe that Nico Harrison, right? I said that is the name of the Mavs GM. Correct me if I'm wrong, RJ. Nico Harrison, previously was with what, Nike or Under Armour? Nike, there we go. Perfect. I cannot believe that Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka, the two general managers, have been talking for 3 weeks and no one knew.
Yeah.
That's how it should be done.
It's insane.
But like for something of this magnitude, the fact that Jason Kidd did not know, like the fact that LeBron did not. LeBron was out to eat after a game in the Garden. Like it's like what? Like I mean, the whole thing is just bananas, and it's made even crazier when you now consider the fact that Luka Doncic being traded means he's going to miss out on over $120 million because he cannot receive a full Supermax contract. It's a slap in the face to him, and so I understand why Mavs fans are so disappointed.
Yeah, he was eligible for a 5-year, $345 million max contract that he cannot get.
Now it's down to like, I think, what, 280, something like that. So, RJ, the floor is yours. RJ also not only, round of applause, give yourself a round of applause, RJ, because Open Gym was ready.
We should be giving him a round of applause.
I loved to see that notification on the old live stream on the X app when I saw the Open Gym leading with it. RJ's time is here. Warmed my heart. So very proud of you, RJ, for just jumping right in, having that fall. Yes, certainly it was the news of the day, but very proud of you for that. You are in an interesting position in that you are our NBA go-to analyst here at 1010, but you did grow up in Los Angeles. You are a lifelong Lakers fan, not necessarily a LeBron fan. So the floor is yours, sir. Walk us through where you were and your reaction to the news.
So I'm about to pack it in.
I thought you said about to pass out.
Well, I was about to do that too. I was going to pass out and go to sleep. Because my thought process was, I mean, the Lakers looked amazing against the New York Knicks on Saturday. So you're thinking one of two things, at least in my mind as a Lakers fan. Either A, Rob Pelinka is going to try to convince Lakers fans, or we're going to have to just be okay with the fact that maybe trading for a big man is not going to be in the cards, especially how you looked without Anthony Davis. So it seems like the team's really starting to figure it out. JJ Redick's system is now being implemented and put in a place where the guys understand it. So you're a 5 seed. Whether we get a center, whether we do not get a center, damn it, let's ride. Then I see the tweet, and I'm saying, okay, of course this is a hack. And then
Shams got hacked.
And
Bobby Marks of ESPN also texted Shams and said, "Did you get hacked? Like, am I actually reporting this?" So it wasn't just like you, RJ. Like his colleagues were also like, "Yeah, no, this is not real."
The whole NBA world was asking whether or not this was real, especially when I hover around, the Shams Charania's name. I'm like, this is the actual account. This can't be this can't be true. So once my friends back on the West Coast are now all going crazy and they say Shams doubled down, I couldn't sleep. I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that a guy who at worst is the fourth best player in the league, but when his mind is correct and he's healthy, he's the second best player in the league, and he's 25 years old, only one first-round pick in Anthony Davis? And as I said on my show yesterday, I went to sleep, I woke up, I looked at Twitter again. No, this is the real deal. There's so many questions in which I have. I'm sure there's probably going to be a hit piece in probably the next month, just talking about what the Mavericks felt for them not to talk to Luka. I mean, there just had to be something going on. At face value, I just do not believe that nobody knew except for Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison. No players knew, no coaches knew, or that the fact of Luka Doncic did not request a trade, yet you're trading him. Smell test, something doesn't sit right. But yeah, I'm still in shock. I don't know how you're able to pull this off if you were the Lakers, but I mean, shout out to Rob Pelinka. He's able to Jedi mind trick everyone, as he's done so over the last few years, where it's maybe he should not be the GM, then he makes moves and the Lakers completely turn around. But this is the one that's out the park when it comes to getting a guy that now you're saying over the next 10 years is our franchise player. This is now officially his team, even though we have LeBron James on our roster for the here and now. How long that lasts, I don't know. Absolutely just I'm dumbfounded. And as a Lakers fan, I'm sure that I feel a lot like other Lakers fans when it comes to the point of we understand what AD was to the Lakers. He was the handpicked guy by LeBron James. You always had an inkling that AD was going to come to the Lakers. You just had to wait one more year, and the Lakers were going to give up all their future assets to acquire him. He brings an NBA championship, bubble or not. He brought an NBA championship to the Los Angeles Lakers, and he's being traded, but he's not being traded for just anyone. He's being traded for Luka. So as much as I feel that there are some Lakers fans that are excited about Luka, I do believe that hearts do go out to Anthony Davis, because I do believe he wanted to retire a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. So let's see how the team looks by Friday. There's a couple more days left before the deadline, but I still sit back in my chair like Luka Doncic is a Laker at the age of 25.
What? I know, it is crazy.
It is, and I was about to say, because I was like, poor AD, honestly. Like, just getting shipped off, number one, but a place that he did want to retire at, and then you're going to the Mavs, who are having well, you're going to a place, though, that's having a funeral for the guy that ends up leaving. But, RJ, like, to me, the only logical thing in my head seemed like the Mavs felt like there's something else I think kind of weird must have been going on, but I also feel like the Mavs feel like they're close and they can win in the next 2-3 years. That's the only reason that I think this would make any sort of sense in their minds.
You didn't think you could win in the next 2-3 years with a whole 25-year-old that's averaging 29, 8, and 8?
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely bananas to me. The only thing that I can really say, and to the 910 on the text line, I am not mourning. This is just kind of, how did you do this if you were Dallas and you only got one first-round pick in Anthony Davis? Teams would have given up their first, second, and third born, and they would have said, oh, yeah, I have a couple bodies hidden in the closet. Give us Luka Doncic, and that did not happen whatsoever. The Lakers pulled an ultimate fleece job. But if Dallas is to say this, I try to think of justifiable ways and to justify why you're saying this. And if you're saying defense wins championships, name me an offensive player that is a superstar offensive player, plays no defense, and has won a team an NBA title. You're not going to find it. Also, if
Isn't
you're
that
trying,
LeBron though?
No, LeBron plays defense. LeBron's won best defensive player a couple of times.
I mean, listen, he was a member of the all defensive team when he won his championships in Miami.
Right.
So now, if you want to say, Lauren, if you want to say, listen, he doesn't play defense as well as he did when he was at the peak of his powers, I'll give you that argument.
Yeah.
But when he was winning NBA championships, this guy was a two-way player. Now, on the other end of it, if you are saying because he is injury prone, because he hasn't spent a lot of time on the floor, and it doesn't seem like he's taking his conditioning seriously.
Right. That's the part that I want to ask you about, because some of the slights thrown Luka Doncic's way in these reports of the concerns about his conditioning, although if he did after coming in, there was one report out there that he came into training camp looking svelte, and then within a month he ballooned to 260 pounds.
there was
like that one, I'm a little like I'm concerned for Luka and his like metabolism.
But Jokic also isn't like the
correct,
the,
right? The
best
epitome of
conditioned
health, right,
athlete.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But the fact that combined with, well, Anthony Davis is a good defender, and therefore we need that. Like, I cannot, to your point, RJ, I cannot justify, well, we need more defense, and also he's fat, so therefore this is what, like, so he's that doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, it has a big contract coming up. Was that like?
And there's a personality conflict is certainly what it seems like from the outside.
I do not care. I do not care. And did I mention I do not care? If I was the owner of the team, I would say, listen, this fat man is averaging 29, 8, and 8. He can eat all the Hostess and cookies and cakes that he wants. But if you are the Dallas Mavericks and you are saying, listen, I think this guy is going to be Joel Embiid in the next 4 years. You're going to spend more money on him sitting on the bench and recovery time than he is going to be on the floor. If you are banking on that, you make the trade, sure. But how about you announce that to the rest of the league and try to get future assets? This is why I say shout out to Rob Pelinka, because if Pelinka was able to tell Nico Harrison and company, nobody else that has a top 5 player on their team is going to take you serious when you say you're trading Luka Doncic, and in return, you want their top 5 player. One, they're not going to trade him to you. Secondly, they're going to think that you are out of your mind for even having this idea. So if you want to go to the second tier of players, let's say the Miami Heat have been a team that have said we would be interested in the Luka Doncic sweepstakes here in the next couple of years once he becomes a free agent. Do you want Bam Adebayo? Is that the guy in which you want? Really?
By the way, that's not the first Bam appearance of the show. Continue, RJ.
So, and you can take Bam, and Asia Wilson can come along with you. That's not who you really want, is it? Take Anthony Davis. Take a first-round pick. That's going to help you both now, and if you think in the next 3 to 4 years, as he said in his press conference, that he is, we have the best chance of winning. Go ahead, take this. And for a guy to say, you know what, you're right, that's the best deal available. It's an absolute fleece job.
Good job by Rob Pelinka.
Great job by Rob Pelinka.
The bottom line is they were just like auctioning off a top 5 player in the league for peanuts, and so he took it. Like,
yeah, there's an AC/DC song called "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap." That's what this makes me think of.
To put it in proper context for you, Kevin Durant at age 34 went for 5 first-round picks. 5 first-round picks, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, and also a slew of pick swaps. Phoenix basically mortgaged their future for Kevin Durant. Mikal Bridges, who is not on the level of a Kevin Durant, not on the level of a Luka Doncic, went for 5 first-round picks. That was his market, 5 first-round picks. Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley went for 4 first-round picks. A defensive guy went for 4 first-round picks. Luka Doncic only went for 1. This is something to where I believe Luka Doncic is really going to try to stick it to the Mavs. And the only other guy that I know that tried to stick it to his former team to win an NBA championship was that of Shaquille O'Neal back in 2005. Dwayne Wade got injured in 2005, but they ended up winning it in 2006. And Shaq went from Mr. Fat Man to Mr. Slim Fast and was a dominant force once again in the league. And they end up winning a championship. Now, it didn't go to back-to-back or a three-peat or anything like that, but he was able to stick it to the Lakers to the point to where there were probably fans that said, see, Kobe should have been the one to go. I believe now if a guy like Luka Doncic, who's already a crazy SOB when it comes to being a competitive guy on the floor, if now LeBron James comes to him and says, hey, like this is a thing called a Stairmaster, let's go on a run, and let's say Luka finally figures it out and he becomes just the slimmest and absolute best shape of his entire career, you're now dealing with 10 years of Luka Doncic not only terrorizing the league, but terrorizing the Dallas Mavericks. I say he goes for 90 one of these games against the Dallas Mavericks in the 10 years that he's going to have. So I still can't believe it. I don't think I'm going to believe it when he plays his first game. He's supposed to be back before All-Star break, or maybe we wait until after All-Star. When Anthony Davis came to the Lakers, I said, I can't believe Anthony Davis is a Laker. This usurps all of that. Luka Doncic is a Laker. They just did the video of him coming off the plane. He's doing the LA sign. This cannot be real, but it is. And the Los Angeles Lakers, what can I say? We fleece everybody. We've done it in the 60s with Wilt, did it in the 70s with Kareem, did it in the 80s with Magic, did it in the 90s with Shaq and Kobe, 2008 with Pau Gasol, 2017 with LeBron James, and now here you have one Luka Doncic. The NBA, Nico Harrison, thank you, but as the NBA fan in me, you idiot.
Taylor, tell everyone your tweet before we go to break.
Oh, yeah. I said I can't believe the Dodgers signed Luka Doncic.
Because the Dodgers signed everyone.
Everybody.
All right, I want to circle back to football when we return. Tony Baselli named as Executive Vice President of Football Operations, what we think that means, and some Super Bowl talk as well. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Living life on the edge of your seat.
Are you kidding me?
Your front row seat for play-by-play.
Break it free, they're not going to catch you.
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Mia here for my friends at Projax Roofing. Winter is here, folks. If your roof took on any damage at all, know that Projax Roofing is here to help now and as we get moving towards those warmer spring months. From the smallest of repairs to full roof replacements, my friend Mike has been serving all of Northeast Florida for 25 years. If you need any help with your roof, call Projax Roofing at 904-338-1722 and you will speak to Mike directly, or visit them online at projaxroofingfl.com.
Denny Thompson here. This is the last week to enter for a chance to win a $2,500 prize over at the new Tyson Sound and Security showroom. I'm talking a 75-inch loaded Samsung TV with 3D surround sound, a soundbar with wireless subwoofer, and installation is included. Stop by the new showroom, check out the setup, and drop your name in the box to enter for your chance to win. Giveaway ends Sunday, so go now to Tyson Sound and Security, 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
Helmets and Heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Big game this Sunday, which means parties, libations, and food. The exact scenario Awaken 180 was built for. Why? Because you eat to lose weight. Do it once, enjoy the process, then receive free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com. Hey, this is David with Royal Pest Services. The fact that we've been bundled up the past month gave us an idea. Let's bundle up also with our Centricon and Pest Control bundle, starting at $349. Visit RoyalPestServices.com for your free inspection.
Shopping for your Valentine and dreaming of seeing that smile? Then make sure you swing by Golden Diamonds Direct for a beautiful piece of jewelry made with quality and care. Joe C. for Golden Diamonds Direct in the Plantation Publix Plaza on Racetrack Road. They've been in business for over 40 years, taking care of customers the right way with great gift ideas. Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Plantation Publix Plaza. Chip, Curtis, Sam, and the crew, they can take care of you so you can take care of your Valentine.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WonderWorld wants you to do. WonderWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WonderWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WonderWorld can.
And with Window World, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WonderWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WonderWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WonderWorld, and to top it off, WonderWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WonderWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call Window World today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World. Simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors. The Florida Forum welcomes best-selling author and journalist Carl Hyacin, February 12th. Funds raised go to a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wilson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets at thefloridaforum.com or call 202-2886. 202-2886.
Matt Hayes here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The UNF Ospreys take round 1 of the River City Rumble against their rival JU Dolphins 81-78. The Ospreys built a 25-point lead in the first half and held off a great second half comeback by the Dolphins. Liam Murphy led the way with 18 points, and Josiah Miles had an all-around good game, recording his 5th double-double of the season. Head coach Matthew Driscoll post-game on needing to focus on making their free throws and instilling the confidence to finish.
You're talking about these 2 games back-to-back. At the end of the day, if we make our free throws, neither game is like this. That, to me, is the biggest problem. We've got to knock free throws in to close these games out. Our theme this year on the back end is confidence to finish, and I think these guys have been playing with that. However, we've got to have the confidence to finish when we get to the line as well, too. So that's something that we really got to hone in on and really got to address.
It's 73 degrees at 105 time in temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Big Chief Tire Monday. Mia, did you pick Justin Timberlake?
I did.
Taylor
This
picked
one's mine
Justin
also.
Timberlake. Well, I figured one of you did.
Yeah,
I thought about picking him. There was so much controversy with, obviously, Justin Timberlake's Super Bowl halftime performance.
It was viral before
with Janet
viral was a
Jackson.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure most people know what we're talking about, so I don't have to go into detail. If you don't, you can Google it if you're above a certain age. How's that? But we are picking songs from our artists that have performed during Super Bowl halftimes that are our favorites. And then on Thursday and Friday, maybe we'll let the listeners pick some. Love it. Let them get involved. Interactive show.
It is funny because I feel like when you think about like Super Bowl halftime shows and you start thinking about your favorites, it does spark certain stuff. Like I was going through the list to just kind of refresh myself of which years certain ones were. And some people have played multiple. Yes. So trying to remember like, you know, what other artists were in that year
Like
and stuff like
Beyonce's
that.
one of those.
Yes. And so for this one, I was like, oh, Justin Timberlake, that was a lot of fun. And then you like, obviously, you know the memory for that one. And then there's certain ones I'll never forget when Paul McCartney played. And Twitter, all the like the amount of tweets that were like, who's this old man? And I'm like, oh my God.
Which, by the way, Paul McCartney was the year after the incident that happened on
They
stage.
had to keep it a little more
So they literally went the exact opposite route. And Paul McCartney, one of the original members of the Beatles, also he had Paul McCartney in Wings. And so, yeah, I do feel like it's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to select an artist that satisfies everyone.
Oh,
like
definitely.
It's Katy Perry, I'll use for example. Like, I don't really like Katy Perry.
Yeah.
It's not my style of music. I understood what they were going after as far as the more of the dancing, the performance.
It was like the weird shark costume.
Exactly. A lot of weird sharks. But like last year's was 2 years ago with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Yeah, for LA.
Yeah. So
that was the Usher.
Like
Ice Cube.
Yeah, last year was Usher, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to fit. I feel like a ton of people are going to like that, but not everyone.
Yeah.
The people that love Paul McCartney may not love Rihanna,
Yeah.
right? And so you can't please everyone.
We
But
can just go back to the OG marching bands.
but like Bruno Mars, I feel like that was a very well-renowned type of performance. Like I think he got less traction, or not, he got a lot of traction, less issues, less complaints.
His problem was he came the year after Beyonce, and so everyone was like, "We want Beyonce again," and it's like Bruno Mars was actually pretty darn good.
But then other people thought Beyonce was like the demon in that because there was like there was a lot of weird stuff with that one. But I do think because someone like Bruno Mars, he sings like poppy stuff, but then also has a little more, has like features and rap and stuff like that. So it did have a little bit of a broad. But yeah, it's going to be impossible to ever have one unless you have like 6 artists and it's like a country artist, a rap artist, a hit like this, like 6 completely different ones. It's the only way
to mesh.
Yeah, and then people will still be like, well, we only got 2 songs.
Yeah, and I know that too, if they release who they've asked to perform, who've declined it, then the person or artist, band, whatever, that ends up like 3rd or 4th, people are not as excited about because they wanted one of the ones, that was one of the top choices. All right, back to football. A couple news items. Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator, leaves Ohio State to go to the Raiders, now obviously working for Pete Carroll. That to me is going to be a very interesting
dynamic.
Conglomeration of people. I don't know if alignment's the right word, but I see Chip Kelly as such a big personality, and I see Pete Carroll as a big personality.
Yep.
Obviously, opposite sides of the ball, but still, you have to work together.
Yeah, 2 former head coaches, and so that'll be fascinating to see. It'll be curious how much autonomy that Pete Carroll gives Chip Kelly. I think for a lot of folks in league circles, the expectation was that he would bring Darrell Bevell back to Las Vegas. They'd get the band back together from Seattle while teaming up with a young, innovative general manager in John Spytek, and of course, still a technically young, innovative defense coordinator in Patrick Graham, who was held over from the previous regime. And so this one was a little out of left field for me, although, people in Houston were very vocal about this, our contemporaries in the media there. As much as, yes, D'Amico Ryans had immense respect for Chip Kelly when he once played for him and has been very vocal about that respect, there was no news, no smoke as to Chip Kelly coming in and taking an interview. This is the one interesting part of hiring someone from the college ranks, Lauren and Taylor, because when you do so, you don't have to go through the process of requesting and it being public knowledge that you've requested X, Y, and Z to interview for a vacant position. And so that's how I think the Raiders were able to get this done under the cover of night, and it's why there was no breadcrumbs left on the trail to Houston if Chip Kelly had even been flirted with there.
Yeah.
Because they've already interviewed 5 other people, I believe now at this point, for that vacant OC job, and none of them were Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I think this one, going back to what in the first segment I was saying, sometimes there's the safe ones, and I feel like this is them being safe. That doesn't mean it always works. That doesn't mean this meshing of 2 former head coaches is going to work, but to me it is the safe in the aspect of we've seen these guys at these positions and we've seen them have moments in the NFL of success, and we've seen them both at high levels be able to coach the team and successful moments. So I do think that when it comes to that, I almost feel like the Raiders are in this world where they're like, we have a lot of work to do. Like, we've got to find a quarterback. There's a lot of other holes that, we have on this team in general. And so, look, there's some bright spots. We've talked about Max Crosby, and we've talked about Brock Bowers, and we've talked about some of those areas that they do have where people do like. But there's a lot of work that has to be done. So bringing in 2 guys that have a lot of experience at all levels of football is probably their best bet right now. If if I were to put money on it, I would say in 5 years they're not here. Like in 5 years, we're talking about two different coaches.
Especially age for Pete Carroll.
Yes.
I could understand that for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who the quarterback is. I think you can be the offensive coordinator, but if you don't have a great quarterback, I don't really know how well your offense is going to go. So that will be fascinating to see what the Raiders do there. And that's why coming back to Jacksonville, as far as Tony Baselli being the executive vice president of football operations, I can relax a little bit now that I know that Shad has someone that can make hires and can fire people, I guess, if need be too, but that has that football mind that's operating, with that all in mind. Like everything Tony Baselli will decide for the franchise is whether or not it's good for the football team. And so that brings us to Cleveland and the Browns, Myles Garrett requesting the trade. If I'm the Browns, I won't trade him away. I understand he wants to leave, but this is a business and you're good on my football team unless he's going to sit out.
Yeah, I saw a quote just now where they said a reporter asked the general manager, Andrew Berry, last week, if someone sees you at a diner and says, we'll give you 2 ones for Myles, do you say I'm not interested? And Berry said, correct. You can put that on the record.
Right.
So this man, he does not want to get rid of Myles Garrett for anything. So yeah. And granted, we've heard this before. We've heard the teams that are like, no way in the world we're trading this person. And then someone comes in and is like, we'll give you 3 first rounds and this and this. And then the guy's like, oh, let me think about that.
Or you're the Dallas Mavericks and you will accept just 1 first-round pick and Anthony Davis and whatever he has left in the tank for Luka Doncic. So
yeah, they're not taking a person and 1 pick. I will tell you, Andrew Berry's not doing that.
No, at age 29, Myles Garrett is still the best pass rusher.
Yes.
The best defensive lineman in the National Football League. What I am curious, is he that tied to this trade request that he would be willing to not pay?
Yeah.
We largely haven't seen it since Le'Veon Bell. I guess
get paid.
Hassan Reddick, right, to essentially forfeit the game checks, to sit out through training camp.
And it wasn't smart by Le'Veon Bell.
And it wasn't smart by Hassan Reddick. I mean, because now what is there for him to do? We don't know what, as much as, yes, he was coming off of a double-digit sack season with the Eagles, and even then it was lackluster compared to the Super Bowl season in 2022.
Yeah.
Like, you're betting on yourself, and I think that that's really important because I think that we love to talk about the people who bet on themselves and it works out, but it doesn't always work out when you bet on yourself. Ask Le'Veon Bell. He'll tell you his career all but spiraled from the moment he decided to not play until he was traded.
Yeah, and look, if you're Myles Garrett, I get it. If I'm a Browns fan, by the way, this is just another depressing thing.
So sad for
you gave up so much guaranteed money for Deshaun Watson, who obviously had already off-the-field issues, and he decided to, even without the off-the-field issues, he already had quit on the Texans.
Yeah.
And so you decide to give him the most guaranteed money in NFL history, $235 million to Deshaun. And most Cleveland fans weren't a fan of him anyway, even as a quarterback, like I said, regardless of the off the field. And now the best pass rusher in the NFL says, I want to trade. And look, when someone is that vocal and it's that public, I wouldn't be surprised if Myles Garrett ends up on another team. I don't know who's going to be willing to pay the 2 to 3 first rounders, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing somewhere else next year.
And sometimes it's not even right away. Like we saw that with Roquan Smith, it didn't happen before the season. He sat out. He said he requested a trade. Seemed like they may have been working stuff out. And then at the trade deadline, they traded him because they couldn't come up with anything still. And so it could even be a situation like that where the Browns are like, no, we're not doing it. We're not trading you. And then you get into the season and whether he's not playing or you could tell he's doesn't care and other things like that start to factor in the decision. And then at that point, sometimes these owners and general managers are forced into just starting to listen to people and seeing what at least people will offer them.
Or how about one a little bit closer to the hearts of so many in Duval right now? Jalen, yes, Jalen to be certain, but I was even going to say Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, yeah.
From less than a year ago when those rumblings first started coming out, when I first reported it back in March, and so many people said there ain't no way. And that saga went up until the opening day of the regular season before Brandon Ayuk finally worked out a contract extension.
And then that season didn't go very well.
Right.
Correct. And now I think that there's a difference, though, because in the case of Brandon Ayuk, I think to some extent, Lauren, in the case of Le'Veon Bell, because obviously that was a very stable franchise in the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to believe it was about the money. I don't believe it's about the money
for Garrett.
For Myles Garrett. It is about, as Robert on the MyBookie Digital Studio pointed out, it is about the Deshaun Watson trade wasting the prime years of Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb. And
now he's got that extra injury when he retore his Achilles.
So we don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
Correct.
For the Browns next year. We don't know if they're going to draft 1 second overall. We don't know if they're going to sign, Kirk Cousins to the league minimum, what they're going to do. But one way or another, hey, listen, it worked for the Steelers with Russell Wilson. They went to the playoffs. We don't know what they're going to do, but I think the point is he doesn't care about the money.
Yeah.
So that's why
Garrett also did say Deshaun Watson was a model citizen.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
That's true too. But at the same time, I think he recognizes, and maybe he has more intel on where the Browns go from here. Maybe they are going to say, we're going to rebuild. And if you're him, you're 29 years old in the prime of your career, a future Hall of Famer, can you, in good faith, just sit there and say, oh, yeah, I'll sign up for the next 5 to 6 years of a rebuilding project?
Here are the odds. The Cowboys have the best odds to get Myles Garrett, followed by the Commanders. That one makes perfect sense to me. And then the Chiefs, the Raiders, the 49ers. Obviously, Myles Garrett does not want to go to the Raiders, as we just talked about the issues that they have. The Chiefs would certainly be a great landing spot. And yes, very annoying. But also I just don't think the Chiefs would be able to give up the draft
Parsons
capital.
and Myles Garrett. That'd be scary to go up against.
Shout out Shoddy, man. Shoddy bounces right back up.
By the way, Roger Goodell meets this afternoon with the NFL officials, and so we'll get more information as far as the potential 18-game season that's coming down potentially, and then of course the state of officiating, everyone's favorite topic, a hot button topic ahead of this week's Super Bowl. All right, when we return, I'll give you today's Terminix Pest of the Day. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Spirited sports talk.
He never wavered in his belief.
Spirited sports conversation.
If you're going to act like a loser, raise your hand.
1010XL. Adding a little spirit to the conversation.
Be aggressive. Come on, guys. Go team.
This is Dr. George Bari inviting you to look online at BariOrthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics and online at BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to DreamfindersHomes.com for more details.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's finally here. A game so big we're not even supposed to say the name, where the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Philadelphia Eagles at the Caesars Superdome. Can you guess what game I'm talking about? It's more than just the football game, though, folks. We have wild props at MyBookie for this epic showdown. Will it be heads or tails for the coin toss? What color will the Gatorade be for the drenching of the winning coach? Right now at MyBookie, purple is the front runner at plus 175. You can get that traditional yellow, green, lime at plus 225. Or how about the length of the national anthem? Right now, the expectation is that it'll be somewhere around 123 and a half seconds. Will you go over or will you go under? You can pick whichever you choose on MyBookie. Boosted parlays, live betting, jackpots that turn small bets into big prizes. Sign up with MyBookie now using promo code 1010XL and get your 50% sign-up bonus to kick things off right. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
This is Hayes Carlion for Physician Guided Weight Loss. I'm down 20 pounds already thanks to Physician Guided Weight Loss. I feel great, and it's all thanks to them. Their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and proven results have sold me. They can help you too, and it's affordable with firm pricing. No rising costs as you go. If you're like me and looking to kick off the new year with a leaner body, call my friends at Physician Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Is your office productivity running at full speed? Advanced Business Solutions has the solution with Xerox copiers. Whether you need high-volume printing, scanning, or secure document management, Xerox copiers deliver efficiency, quality, and innovation. With features like cloud integration and mobile printing, Xerox is perfect for any modern office. Let ABS help you streamline your workflow. Veteran-owned Advanced Business Solutions.
Advanced Business Solutions.
When was the first cruise ship voyage?
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The first cruise voyage was on the Princess and Victoria Louise, which set sail on her maiden voyage in January of 1901.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Prosser here, still telling you about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures is keeping the sale going into February. Enclosures starting at only $89 a month, and if you get a complete enclosure done, you get free flooring. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring is running a buy one room, get the second room free. Now offering floor coating for that garage or patio deck too. Give them a call or visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about how God never fails us. In the Bible, Christ says this, I will in no way fail you or leave you without support. This is so important to remember because we can have the attitude, where is God when I need him? Why is this problem happening to me? No, just because your mind is saying one thing doesn't mean that God isn't going to do what he said. God has never failed us in the past. He's not about to start right now.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
I'm Max Fink, and I'll bring you the Gator Report several times weekly to keep you connected to Gainesville.
The Gator Report, put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. And every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude, stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Include some Michael Jackson on our favorite artists who performed during halftimes at the Super Bowl. Michael Jackson performed back in 1993. My probably favorite all time, not that I remember it necessarily in the moment, but as far as like the iconic artists that have ever performed at the Super Bowl, to me, Michael Jackson takes the cake. And this, of course, is Billie Jean, which has one of the longer intros that you don't realize until you're playing it on the radio.
Yeah, that one, I was only 3, so I definitely don't remember watching that one live, but I've obviously seen the performance since, and that is one of the better ones from start to finish. It was just fantastic from start to finish.
People love Michael Jackson. They love Prince.
Yeah.
So, we will continue to play some music from
the Purple
Super Bowl.
Rain moment.
Yeah, halftime performances as the week goes along. Time now for today's Terminix Pest of the Day. As always, Terminix brings you the latest when it comes to making sure your home doesn't have pests, but we have to tell you about a pest each day. And today, I don't like to necessarily assume that someone's guilty. So, for instance, in the Todd Golden case, wanted to make sure more information was brought to light. But when it comes to Deshaun Watson, it feels like there were enough people that said that he did the things. And now it's starting to seem that way to me with Justin Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
There are enough women massage therapists coming forward saying that he did things he should not be doing while they were just trying to treat him. And so at the end of the day, it feels like now that there are up to 9 different people saying this, that Justin Tucker probably did some things that he shouldn't have. Now, he, of course, is maintaining innocence. We will see how the whole process plays out. But if you have pests in your home, visit Terminix.com, Terminix.com, and I promise you they'll take care of all your pests, all your rodents, any sort of issues, termites as well that you have. Look, if I'm the Ravens, I certainly want to do a lot of research, a lot of investigation. But if I do believe that he's guilty, then I would cut him.
Yeah,
I know the Browns didn't do that with Deshaun. But
Right.
That's what I would do. And again, a kicker is probably a little different than a quarterback you paid so much guaranteed.
And
money
I
to.
respect so many who've pointed out, like, where is the national media witch hunt that there was for Deshaun Watson? Why does it not exist for someone who many believe, if he was to be on the ballot, would immediately be entered into the Pro Football Hall of Fame for enshrinement? And yes, some people want to point to the racial component as well. Certainly, Justin Tucker is, I mean, it's hard to separate now, Lauren, in 2025. But the notion of, oh, well, it's Justin Tucker. He's a great guy. Like, what has he done to hurt? That's what we were saying about Deshaun Watson in 2018, 2019. I mean, ask anybody who rooted for those Clemson teams to beat Alabama when he was in college, to win the national title. He was viewed as, he's such a great leader. He's so, open and transparent. And we had no idea that this was going on behind the scenes. And so, yes, I do agree. If we are going to give that same energy towards Deshaun Watson and immediately for so many to assume it's real, you probably need to also give that same energy to Justin Tucker as well. And now, yes, the number of massage therapists has not reached the number that reportedly files lawsuits against Deshaun Watson. That was in the 20s. But at the
there's
same
still time. Give it time.
There is still time.
And I do also think, and this is an unfortunate part of it, and I've talked about this a lot, the unfortunate side of it is that the football part of it is so engulfed in everything when these type of things happen. And so with the Deshaun situation, he had also requested a trade. He sat out, wasn't playing. There was all of this other stuff that already had him in the news. And then when all of that started going down, they're like, oh, by the way, all of these things just came out. And yeah, it was like 20-something women at first. And so I do think because there was already football drama that he was already all over the news because of that, because he had requested a trade and wasn't playing. And so because he was all over all of the news and sports outlets already because of that, when this happened, it was also like, oh, was the team was involved and they were hiding stuff. And so it did make it into this like bigger thing. But I do think we need to give the same energy to anybody who, when we're starting to see stuff like this start to pop up. And it's also like, what's up with the kickers within the last little while? What is going on?
Yeah, it's also, I mean, if this was Joe Burrow versus Evan McPherson, right? Like everyone in the country knows who Joe Burrow is.
Yes.
Not everyone can name the Bengals kicker. And I probably only can because he went to the University of Florida, right? And so it is because it's quarterback versus kicker at this point in time too. But Justin Tucker has been around this league for a long time. And so you are starting to see a lot more, I think, in the last 48 hours, people nationally start to discuss this. It's also, I think it's awkward. Like, people went through this once before with Deshaun and they didn't really know how to address it, right? And so now that it's coming back with the same type of thing, massage therapists and them claiming pretty much assault, like it's an awkward, weird conversation to have, like, because you don't want to get into the details of what they did wrong. By the way, Terminix also handles the pest control for Everbank Stadium, Daly's Place, 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark, the home of the Jumbo Shrimp, as well as the Prime Osborne Convention Center as well. So they handle the pest control all around town. At the end of the day, like I said, we'll have to wait and find out more information. We don't want to assume that everyone who gets accused of something is guilty. That is not the way that our justice system works. But like I said, the more people that start to say, if one person says that Taylor Dahl is mean, that's not a reason to think Taylor Dahl is mean. If 25 people say Taylor Dahl is mean, then you start to believe it a little bit more. Right. And obviously I picked on Taylor because she's not mean and everybody knows that. So that was an easy one.
And if they say that in the comments on 1010XL videos about me, it's probably true.
All right.
My aunt and I had a long discussion about that last week. This weekend. That's why it's She was like very concerned. She's like, who are all these people? There's some people saying you're mean, and then there's these other people saying they want you to be the GM. Like, what's going on? I'm like, it's called the internet, Len. Like, this is what
Don't believe everything you read. Put it that way. We've got one segment to go on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online at wekeepjacksrollin.com. Like I said earlier, over 7,600 five-star reviews. There's a reason for that, because they will take care of your vehicle as if you are family. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Your home for Gators Hoops is 1010XL.
After a 20-point loss to Tennessee, the Gators head home to the O'Connell Center for combat with the Commodores. Florida, Vanderbilt. Tomorrow night at 7 on 1010 AM.
Upgrade your home with the winning combination of style and performance from Renewal by Andersen. Energy efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Around this time last year, I was celebrating. Why? Because I had reached my goal of dropping 40 pounds with Awaken 180. It felt great. We all set goals, but most times we don't have a plan to hit them. So it's not really a goal. I'd call it more of a wish, and we know how that saying goes. With Awaken 180, I didn't wish the weight away. I had a plan, and this time, I knew I'd reach my goal, and I did it. 40 pounds gone in just 2 months. Simple. That was a year ago, and I haven't put on a pound. How do I feel? Like $1 million. Like the horizon line that looked so far away all those years is now right in front of me. And it's a brand new day. And it's time to seize it. Night and day from where I felt carrying around all that weight, having to untuck my shirts, winded trying to tie my shoes. If you're overweight, you know what I mean. Set your goal and know you'll reach it with the solution for weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
At Hodges Mazda, they're proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. Lauren Brooks here as your hometown Mazda dealer. Their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional, non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at hodgesmazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE Neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the 2024 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards, and it's easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Bernardino Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. with a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers. Matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Get closer to nature.
Trying to get close to these bucks out here.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz. The Nimnicht Outdoor Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning, 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash, and they're ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. And gold market prices are at a record high. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since 87.
I know I promised so many of you that we would pay homage to the two GOATs whose jersey numbers were retired at their alma maters yesterday. We will circle back to Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson here momentarily, as well as tomorrow. RJ in the lab cooking something up for me. But in cooling down, we will address the new AP poll, which just came out on the men's side. Florida down to number 6 in the AP poll after a disappointing loss at Tennessee on Saturday. I had them 5th. I know there's a lot of, we'll just say, disappointed Florida fans, Lauren, as you look at this poll and you see Tennessee at 4 now after their victory over the Gators at home, despite losing to Kentucky on Tuesday at home last week.
Florida fans should not be upset about the poll. Florida fans should be upset about the lack of effort that appeared in Knoxville on Saturday.
Yeah. Was it another slow start game?
It was another slow everything game.
All around.
Florida couldn't shoot at all, like literally at all. Walter Clayton Jr., it looked like he might be out for a while with a high ankle sprain. He did come back, but he wasn't himself. But either way, they had no inkling of the team that we've seen be aggressive, especially on the boards. Like, none of that. And Walter Clayton Jr. was honestly the only one that showed really, I thought, any sort of extra effort. And that was with a bum ankle.
Right.
So it was really disappointing.
And Tennessee is a great defense. Like I said to Kevin, like as we're watching the first half of the game, I was like, this is why. Like, water is wet. Yes, Rick Barnes will go out and he will find a shiny toy in the portal, whether it's Dalton Connect or Chaz Lanier, who's an elite shooter. But then they're going to go through this lull in the middle of the season or during the NCAA tournament where they can't score. It doesn't matter that they went out and got this elite score. It doesn't matter. And now, yes, they did not have Zakai Ziegler in this game, their star point guard, but it doesn't matter what pieces they have coming back. And they're much more the traditional mold of college basketball in that he's had guys who've been in the program for X amount of years and they know the system. But inevitably, they're going to go through these stretches where defensively they look great, offensively they can do nothing. And so therefore you've got Florida and Tennessee locked in a game in which neither team eclipsed 20 points until there was 3 minutes to go in the first half. And I was like, how is this aesthetically pleasing? It's not. And I'm like, I know I have to watch this because
they were lacking 2 guys. It wasn't just Ziegler.
Yeah, they were without Igor Milicic as well. Yeah, who their star forward. So yeah, I mean, they were down 2 guys and they still boat raced the Gators. In the second half, though, because this was a 1-possession game at halftime, and that's where I think Todd Golden's going to have questions he needs to address because I don't know what changed in that locker room outside of perhaps being shell-shocked, thinking Walter Clayton Jr. would not be able to play. But then he started the second half, so like that's no longer an excuse.
It was just one of those games where it felt like I don't know if you can attribute it to the fact that they would have tipped off at 11 a.m. Central Time or what have you, but it just felt like they literally didn't have their caffeine.
Yeah.
Like normally they are this level. Right, exactly. They are this level energy and they were way, way below normal. And yeah, I didn't feel like Todd Golden made the key adjustments at halftime. And some days, though, look, Tennessee lost by 30 in Gainesville. Tennessee is a good basketball team.
So you get beat by them by 20.
Right. Florida lost by 20 this time, and honestly, it probably could have been more. But hopefully Florida regroups and gets back to that high-level basketball or high-level energy basketball that we have grown accustomed to this season. It just... Thomas Houck and Alex Kana, normally those are the guys that can lift the team. Yeah. Elijah Martin and Will Richard could not have played worse. Like, legit I've never seen those two guys play as bad as they did on Saturday. And Florida's not going to win when you have an injured Walter Clayton Jr. and then those two guys giving you virtually nothing.
And I've heard from a couple different national analysts, and I know a couple of our colleagues here on the Superstation have echoed this. Not to say that this team goes as Elijah Martin goes, but I think it's because Will Richard, at least on the offensive end of the floor, creating his own shot has been so hot and cold. Walter Clayton Jr. is the one consistent factor you can rely on, although, as I know our friend Graham Marsh has noted multiple times on the Denmark and Marsh podcast, he's probably more of a two-guard, and he has to play the one because Elijah Martin also wants to play the two, and so they really don't have a true point guard, and so the fact that they're the number 6 team in the country and they're finding success most nights is rather fascinating. But yes, ultimately, I think that if you can't get, and all three of them are averaging double figures, so I'm splitting hairs here, but at the same time, this is what gets you in the NCAA tournament. If you need 3 guys to all be on that night, and let's say 2 of them are not, and then everything goes to heck in a handbasket, that's what's going to get you bounced early.
Richard had 2 points. Elijah Martin, for the longest time, had none. He finished with 6, but it was in basically garbage time, which you didn't know existed in basketball. Yeah. But it does when it comes to the Florida-Tennessee rivalry. By the way, Auburn just keeps on rolling. Number 1 team in the country, won by 10 at Ole Miss. And that was an electric atmosphere in Oxford. The students had slept overnight, camping out, trying to get into that game. And yet Auburn says, no problem, we got you. And Broom, yet again, different injury, but a shoulder injury, but he came back in as well.
It's so hard, though, because I watch Auburn and they just keep winning. And it's a credit to the culture and the infrastructure that Bruce Pearl has built. I mean, they are definitively all about the name on the front of the jersey, not the back.
Bruce Pearl, who used to coach at Tennessee, the team we were just talking about, now coaches at Auburn.
Right, exactly.
Bruce Pearl, the bane of my existence.
Yeah, he's the bane of a lot of a lot of organizations' existence. But no, the other big game in the SEC, and Lauren, you alluded to it, besides the Luka Doncic trade, the big news of Saturday, I could not believe that they tipped off in Lexington for the Cal return tour at 9 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday night. God bless Alyssa Lang. I hope she had her coffee because, that was a late one to be on the sidelines for. But yeah, Coach Cal, man. I don't know. Arkansas starts 0-5 in conference play. Everyone's like,
oh no,
what are you doing? And now he's going to tell everyone, see, I told you, we figured it out. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm pressing all the right buttons, even though I literally didn't know who we are playing next game out a couple weeks ago.
I'm sure you saw the video that was looped in all the time Saturday morning, and that was Cal saying he's going to be emotional because he's going to have friends in the stands, and he didn't want to get emotional. And in the end, he ended up harnessing all of that for his team to be successful. I definitely did not think that Kentucky would lose at home with Cal coming back.
Not after
to Arkansas.
Right. And maybe it was the hangover from winning at Rocky Top on Tuesday. I don't know. But all I know is ESPN deserves Emmys. They deserve awards for how much time and dedication and cinema that they put into that broadcast. I mean, in college basketball, you don't get the college football treatment of filming on a jib, literally following the coach coming off the bus, through the arena, out through the tunnel, onto the floor. They did not miss in covering John Calipari's return to Rupp Arena, and I think they deserve credit for that they made it as big a spectacle as they did. Certainly the people of the Bluegrass State, they hate Calipari, and now with the rise of Mark Pope, which certainly there will be questions because now I believe he's 4-3 in quad one games. Is this all smoke and mirrors? Are they just a 3-point shooting team that when shots don't fall, they have no answer? I don't think that that's the case. I have been a supporter of Mark Pope since he got to Kentucky and how he's constructed that team. But at the same time, there's your ex, just out here coming back home and showing you who's boss. It sucks, but it's the SEC, too. I think that's a really important point to hit home. This is going to happen, Gator fans. This is going to happen, Kentucky fans. You're going to get picked off every other night. It's just the nature of the league being as competitive as it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember, real quick, because I remember you talking last week, Lauren, that there was it was a week between the play time, too. Do you think that factored in at all?
if it didn't, then like I said, they just didn't sleep and something was completely off. But I do have to wonder because they've been used to playing a midweek game and then the weekend game, and certainly they were out of sorts. But I would have expected them to come out of halftime. Like I thought Todd Golden was going to ream them at halftime and they'd come out fiery. Yeah. And that wasn't the case. So yeah, they were certainly missing something. A few football notes before we get out of here. I saw that Jenna Lane talked to Baker Mayfield over the weekend at the Pro Bowl games, which by the way, shout out to Brad Thomas Jr. for almost 3 touchdowns. But here's what Baker had to say in regards to Liam Cohen leaving Tampa. He said, I know people are going to be upset about it, but for him, Ashley, and their kids, you can't argue with that decision. I can't be mad at that as much as I would want to have him still here. It is what it is. Life goes on, and I'm happy for him. I think that's an important sentiment coming from Baker because it does go to show you that the Bucs are also moving on. Everyone has to figure out, their new lives. Bucs have a new offensive coordinator, so they have to get on the same page. And obviously, it's no longer going to be this rift that everyone around the country is going to be talking about.
Yeah, and that's what when I saw it, because I had quote tweeted it, and going back to when I commented on this in the beginning, is there's two things can happen at once. Like you can understand why something is happening and it still upset you. And I think that a lot of people, when it comes to Bucs fans, even some of the players, and Baker had comments that I've read in the last week too, where he said he was upset. He didn't reply to the text to Liam Cohen right away because he was kind of hurt by what he heard. But that doesn't mean you don't understand. Like I think people need to get it in their head, and like you can relate to this many ways in life, but there's a lot of things that happen that you're like, I get why that happened, but it still kind of sucks. Like this hurt my feelings.
Look at Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
What better example do you need? Which, by the way, Chandler Parsons just reported that apparently Luka just bought a $15 million home in Dallas last week.
Oh my gosh!
Like again, these
cried after finding out he was being treated.
Right. These teams don't care about you, whether you're the coach, whether you're the player. It's a business. If they're not going to have your emotional investments at heart, then how can you be mad? How can you hold this grudge?
I will say, too, Lauren, you mentioned Brian Thomas Jr., which, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, almost 3 if it wasn't for the flag being pulled right before that. But both Malik Neighbors, too. So it's like both LSU wide receivers looked really, really good in this game. And then there was all the Logan Cook whole thing that happened, too. So it is fun to just kind of see those moments. And I know Pro Bowl, it's gotten kind of weird. There's like trivia now, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Which, by the way, all the answers to the trivia questions, I realized as they were going through it, at least the one Thursday night that I watched, was all the answers were the Pro Bowlers. Like, all they had to know were the other guys that were in the Pro Bowl. I started to think about it after like the third different guy. I think it was Josh Jacobs. Started answering. I was like, oh, these are so easy. They only have to answer questions about guys
Players
that are in Orlando.
Physically with them. Yeah,
like come on, man, make it a little more difficult. One other basketball note, circling back to that, the Ospreys won the first round of the River City Rumble at JU, and so that's obviously a huge win for Coach Driscoll and his team, but it also leaves Jordan Mincy and the JU Dolphins kind of reeling a little bit after, Mia, we were both there, after the Dolphins gave up that 24-point lead.
Yeah, exactly. They lost by 2. They gave up a
Florida Gulf Coast.
20. Yeah, it still blows my mind. And by the way, credit to JU because they battled back, and it looked like UNF may blow a double-digit lead on Saturday at Swisher Gymnasium in the Rumble. And so, look, ultimately, for Jordan Mincy, I don't want to say that it's, it's a season of runs, but this is a team that jumped out to a 7-1 mark in conference play. Perhaps it's a regression to the mean the last 2 times out. One game they struggle in the final few minutes to close it out. In the next one, they struggle to complete the comeback. Growing pains with the nature of college basketball as it is, how these rosters are constructed with new pieces here and there. It's going to happen. But yes, a massive victory for Coach Driscoll and UNF, especially after suffering a week and a half ago a tough loss on the road at West Georgia, who I believe is still in last place in the A-Sun, which was a shocking defeat. And so I think that, yes, it was certainly important for UNF. They needed this game more than JU did. And as we get ready to welcome XL Primetime in, yes, shout out to the GOATs. Shout out to Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson. We'll go through it tomorrow a little bit more in depth, but I thought that both of those ceremonies on Fox and ESPN, respectively, also deserve all the Emmys and all the accolades. With not my personal biases aside, like I thought the actual presentation by those broadcasting partners and the fact that they actually showed the entire jersey retirement, both pregame for Asia Wilson in South Carolina and Caitlin Clark postgame, and they kept on the Fox broadcast, like the main mothership Fox, folks, not FS1.
Yeah.
you don't see after some national championship games, you don't see them stay for the presentation or the celebration after. They kick you over to FS1 or ESPN2. They did not. And so a kudo to both of those networks for doing justice by women's basketball.
Let's say hello to the Executive Vice President of XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Service by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Joe C. in the house. Joe, what did you make of Tony Baselli as the new Executive Vice President of Football Operations?
I think it's great from a visibility point of view. And I need to know what the job description actually reads.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If it says that you are going to be heavily involved in personnel, you're going to be heavily involved in the draft and some of the free agent decisions. I don't know where Tony lands in that discussion. I want guys that are tried and true, that have been buried in tape for a long time. Not saying the Jaguars have had that guy in their building to this point to do a killer job in terms of securing talent. But I just like the fact that he's passionate about the football team. He's the first ever pick. He's a Hall of Famer, all those things. He can be a front man, a very visible figure for this football team, and be a huge positive because he does know the standard is the standard, and that's what they need to get to, bringing good talent into that building.
Joe, it was reported that Luka Doncic had just closed on a $15 million house in Dallas last week.
It's up for sale. You can get it for 14. Yeah, he's gonna take a little bit of a bath on that bad boy, and then he's gonna have to start paying taxes in LA.
Yeah,
because he doesn't get the deferred contract like maybe some of the Dodgers players do. But anyway, it was a shock to say the least.
Yes.
Are you now wondering about LeBron James's future in LA?
I think I walked in, I went past RJ, and I'm saying it's all O and it's no D, and he's like, help's on the way. And this, if nothing else, renews the guy with the ball in his hand going forward for the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 2 years down the road. And then you hope Luka becomes the guy that they envision him being, and he's there for the long term. So in other words, he could be the next LeBron in LA. They still need to find people who can play defense, and they don't have any bigs.
Yeah. What's coming up, Joe?
We're definitely going to talk about the coaching staff, everything that's gone on with the hires, with Tony Boselli. So we'll be diving into that. And it is funny, the NBA stole the NFL's jam. This is Super Bowl week.
I know.
And they've never been able to
They're like, watch us.
They've never been able to pirate this week, and they actually did. So anyway, we'll jump in on all that stuff.
Next, we'll see T Swift performing at an NBA game. That's what's on tap.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Joe. We'll be listening. There he goes. XL Primetime does come up next, so don't go anywhere. For me, O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow.
These boots are gonna walk all over you.